Hey, what's going on, everybody? TaylorMade Hoops coming to you live and direct once again with TaylorMade Hoops Coach's Corner. Today, I got a very, very special guest. I got Coach Tony Wagner. Hey, if you don't know who Coach Wag is, man, and you in the basketball community, not just in the state of Texas, but across the country, you don't know who Coach Wag is, man. He might be the wrong profession. Very humble guy, but a living legend, somebody I've been watching for a numerous amount of years. He's the head coach at Estacado High School in Lubbock, Texas. A little background about Coach. Coach has over 500 career wins as a head coach. He's been the head coach at Estacado, excuse me, since 2006. Only one season, excuse me, he only had one season with less than 20 wins, four state tournament appearances, one state championship in 2010, numerous regional appearances in district championships. I was reading somewhere as far as on district championships. At one time, Coach, I had won 20 out of the last 23 district championships. So once again, I have the myth, the legend, great guy, not just a great basketball coach, but what I respect about him is the mentorship, and he understands about, it's bigger than just basketball. But no other than my main man, Coach Tony Wagner. How you doing, Coach Wagner?
I'm doing well, man. I appreciate you guys having me on the show. I mean, this is an honor for me, to be able to spotlight our program and our kids and how hard that they work and what we've been able to accomplish in the past and what we're going to accomplish in the future.
Oh yeah. And Coach, I always like to bring people on, Coach. I like to say, because with me, man, it's all about trying to educate everyone, whether it be the parents, whether it be the kids, the players, and just everybody sharing their story. And also, like you say, it's about highlighting, the programs most definitely the kids, because this is one of the reasons why I started this is for, programs like yourself that one of the better programs in the state of Texas, but for whatever reason, for geographical locations, may not be getting out of the pub, recognition than maybe some of the schools, in the Dallas or Fort Worth Metroplex, Coach. So that's why I'm just honored that you want to come on, Coach. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Well, Coach, man, we're gonna go ahead and let the viewers know the objectives and the points of conversation today. Today, me and Coach Wagner, we'll be talking about the championship culture, his offensive defense philosophy, and talking a little bit about the upcoming season. The first question, Coach, I know the answer, but share with the viewers. Where did you grow up in your athletic and educational journey, Coach?
I'm from Wichita Falls, Texas, right there in North Texas, not too far from Dallas and Fort Worth area. I went to Ryder High School, which they closed it down this last year. So now it's, Wichita Falls went to that two high school system with Memorial and Legacy. Um, I played basketball. Obviously, I played basketball in high school. Also ran track, went to the state track meet. Did both in college as well. Graduated from Wayland Baptist University in 1993. Big Charles Gentry was there with us when I played at Wayland, and Brandon Jones, a couple of guys from Dallas area. Graduated there, coached at Plainview High School for 2 years, and I've been at Estacado since 2000.
Oh yeah, man. No doubt, Coach. Well, let me ask this, Coach. I know for most of us, Coach, but what role did athletics play in your life growing up? How important was playing sports, Coach Wagner?
Well, my dad, Coach BJ in Wichita Falls, kind of like a boys club legend there. He started coaching boys club football when I was 7 years old. He passed away a year and a half ago, but I think he was on his 42nd or 43rd year as a boys club coach, and that's just something that always wanted to do. But I wanted to get paid for it. I watch him, love on kids and be hard on kids and discipline kids and things like that. In fact, our head football coach, Coach Ward, Eric Ward, who played at Texas Tech, he started playing football under my dad right there in Wichita Falls, Texas. So he made a big impact on my life as far as him, being involved in other kids' life, and then we were able to spend a lot of time together, with him coaching and me and my siblings playing.
Okay. Well, for the viewers just tuning in, hey, once again, TaylorMade Hoops Coach's Corner. I got Coach Tony Wagner, head coach at Estacado High School down in Lubbock, Texas. Of doing a great job, not just on the court but off the court. Coach, you kind of already gonna lead me into the next question, Coach. When did you realize that you wanted to be a coach?
Man, I at first, like all of us, we thought we was going to the league, and so I didn't know if I was going to be a coach because I was trying to I was trying to get to the league, but playing basketball myself. Obviously I wasn't good enough to do that. And so when I graduated college, I just decided I wanted to coach and teach, and be an impact in a community that was like ours. I only applied in jobs where the kids the the, the population looked a lot like how I grew up. I wanted to be involved in low income minority kids' lives, and let them see that there's other ways to do it other than hustling and sports and other things like that. They could make something of themselves just by working hard and being true to themselves.
Oh yeah, Coach, man. And me, you most definitely, Coach, like in that aspect, Coach, like I said, as far as the part about being a mentorship, understanding the impact that you make. I played in Skyline High School for Coach Mayo. So, Coach Mayo all about, teaching you life skills and obviously, life's all about relationships and communication. And just, he always say, he always joke, he's probably everybody's friend on Facebook, but, he always say, you're a difference maker, be a difference maker, Ed, or whatever the case may be. So, this kind of, like you say, where we have something in common, Coach. Where I always, I Facebook stuff with Coach, man, and I always see posts and stuff like, you wouldn't want to be no other place than where you're at, and things that sort, and just you just really just enjoy the impact that you have on the kids, not just on the court. You very rarely, talk about that. You always talk about how you're glad the kids come back and the culture, and how you molded, you're just glad you molded these young men into being productive citizens or what have you. So at the end of the day, I tell you, this was all about us as coaches. Hey, we got that gift where we get to reel the kids in, get their attention. But now since you got their attention, now like you say, Coach, now we got to teach them values and discipline and life skills, what have you. But we get their attention because of the basketball. But as you well know, hey, the life skills and lessons that we're teaching them going to take them much further than basketball probably will, Coach. No
Yes,
doubt,
sir.
Coach. No
Especially with
doubt.
the way this the portal is now. 10 years ago, 12 years ago, a really good high school kid was going Division 1, small level Division 1. Nowadays, man, you have to be 4-star, 5-star kid to get a great look. And so, unfortunately for us, we haven't had a lot of those kids. And so I try to instill in them that, you can play basketball. It's probably gonna be at a level that you think you're better than, which at this day and
Mm-hmm.
point, whatever level that you're at is the level that you're supposed to be at, and so
There you go, Coach.
it's hard for kids to grasp that. So I try to make sure that they understand there's other avenues, man. You can there's nothing wrong with being a great high school player and going to
Yeah.
college, getting a job. There's nothing wrong with being a good high school player and going to trade school and finding a trade that can help you out in life. Sometimes I think in our community, we get so caught up in playing college sports that we forget that there's other ways to have a happy life.
Oh no, Coach, man, you speak to the choir, Coach, man. I still, still teach myself what have you. And I teach it at the alternative school, what have you. And this is something I tell those kids, man. I say, hey, college that is an option, but it's not for everybody. I always preach to them, hey, you got trade schools, you got military. All if you want to just do is, like my mom did, man. She just started, working at a Fortune 500 company from the bottom up. Just worked her way up, and by the end of her career, she was a district manager, things that sort of whatever, those were like some of my parents, did in the past. Those worked for GM Motors or whatever, nothing wrong with that, Coach, just really just instilling there with the kids, because a lot of times I think that's why they sometimes do some of the things that we know they should be doing, other avenues, hustling, whatever the case, be selling drugs, because they don't feel they have no other option. Oh, I wasn't that smart in school, so I went to college ain't really for me. Oh, but I didn't make it, I didn't get a scholarship in basketball, football, so I really don't have no other option, man. Now you have other options, man. So most definitely, Coach. Most definitely. Well, Coach, I know you may have already kind of told me one of the people, Coach, but tell me, Coach, who are some of the people that had the biggest influence on you as a coach, Coach Wagner?
Well, the biggest influence on me is probably Tim Thomas. He's down there
Okay.
at
Yeah.
Eastern now. He and I were together forever.
Mm-hmm.
Our philosophy is a lot alike when it comes to dealing with kids and coaching kids and being around kids and getting them involved in things. I would say he was the absolute biggest impact that I've had in my life, and I'm very fortunate to be able to still call and lean on him when I need some things. Mark Adams, the former head coach at Tech, our sons were the same age. Luke and Kevin, they were the same age, the class of 2011. And So we played a lot of summer ball together. Just being able to be around him and listen to him and the terminology and the accountability that he held on kids, played a big part of my life. And then last was, my high school JV coach, Larry Menifee. He kind of put it in perspective for me because I thought I was going to be this scoring guy and this, that could do it all, and he kind of made sure it put me in my lane, which was be a great defender and I could score, but I also guard the other team's best player from high school all the way through college, and me being able to do that and listening to him, I think that's one of the things that allowed me to start on every college team I ever played on, to play major minutes on every team I ever played in, just the small things. And so I've taken that into my coaching, and that to make sure the kids understand that there's more ways to affect the game than scoring. You got to buy into your role, and if you do that, then you can play basketball for a long time as well. If you can do something really really well.
No, coach, most definitely, coach. There's some coach that I still coach when I get a chance, to speak with players and things that sort of, coaches at practice when I go to practice and stuff. I tell them that you got to be able to affect the game without scoring. That's what college coaches is looking for. I tell my son this coach, he's a football guy, he plays receiver, but I tell the coach it's the same philosophy. This coach when you watch the film, what have you. I tell him, I say, hey, even though you may not be the first progression, you may be lined up on the other side, but still run your route like you getting the ball. I said because the thing about it is because it's a team effort. If you don't run your route like you're supposed to get the ball, now maybe you may not bring that safety over, to allow the other guy to get open, what have you. The same thing I tell in basketball, especially on defense, I tell guys, I say, coaches very rarely just worry about watching what's going on, as far as on the ball, coach, the guy going the ball. You looking at what's going on out the ball, the weak side, that dude in position, is he in help? Is he ready in his position, what have you? So that's something I try to tell guys, hey, how can you affect the game without scoring? Everybody can score, what have you, especially when you get to the least level, as you well know, playing there, coach, everybody can score. But what can you do to get on the court, those small things, coach, playing defense. Coach, play defense, this coach, play defense, you get on that court on every level, coach, high school or what have you, because we feel that, hey, we know these guys can score. Coach, don't get me wrong, coach ain't recruit no guys that can't score. Coach knew you could score, but hey, he plays that defense. So I love the philosophy, coach. Like I say, to be honest, coach, I stopped and coach. I'm a student of the game, so I study other people, other coaches, and you're on the right track, coach. Keep it up, man. Yes, sir.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
But hey, for my viewers just tuning in, as you can tell, I'm having a great time. Hopefully, Coach Wagner's having a great time on TaylorMade Hoops Coach's Corner. Just chopping it up, man, like we're hanging out at the barbershop, man. Just two coaches, man, just talking a little bit about basketball. Coach, let me ask this, Coach, because hey, you've been down there, I mean, for 20 plus years, Coach, and what have you, and you obviously established a great culture down there. And so I know a lot of other coaches that be watching, what have you, they may want to know a few secrets or what have you. So, Coach, how do you establish a championship culture in your program, Coach? And also, how do you maintain that championship culture on a daily basis, Coach Wagner?
Well, we one of our sayings is, and we stand on this, is tradition never graduates. And so when those kids come up, they understand what it means to play basketball at Estacado. Most of these kids have been wanting to play here since they were small kids coming to my camps, and they've never witnessed, just a season where it was just, where we're just bad. And so they don't want to be that group of kids that come in and break that tradition of the success rate of the success that we've had and things of that nature. Everything around here is a competition. I mean, everything is around here is competitive, and the standard is the standard. I'm a big believer in what you do away from the court can affect what we do on the court, and so I discipline them. I discipline our kids for things that they do at home. If their mom or dad call me and say they're having a rough time getting them to do something at home, I fall in line with them. They won't play that week. I want them to understand that there's consequences for every action, and so and they understand that. Our best player, he's probably gonna be one of the best I've ever had over here. And sometimes I have to tell them, hey, you're not playing this week because you don't know how to keep your room clean. And I'm tired of your mom texting me about your room. And he thinks that it doesn't have nothing to do with playing over here. But the way I see it is, if you won't do what your mom tells you to do when you don't feel like it, then how are you going to do what I want you to do? You know, when in the crutch, I might drop a play you don't agree with in the final 20 seconds, 30 seconds of a game. And because the ball's not coming to you, or because you don't like what's going on, you may venture and do something that you whatever you want to do. And so if you do that to her, then what makes you think that I think that you want to do it to me? And so, I all those things, man. I mean, and they understand that. And so now it's not as hard, because the kids that come in as freshmen, they see how the seniors, the upperclassmen are acting, and they just fall in line, whereas, so we don't have to reiterate that over and over and over and over and over. It's a funny story. It was a fight in the hallways. Last Monday, we had a fight at the school, which, fights happen at all schools, but I dove in there. To break it up, whatever. One of our freshmen made a meme up. One of our freshman basketball players, he slowed it down, made a meme of it, put it on all our Barstool pages or whatever. And the upper class was like, "If we got to run for this, if we got to run for this." I was like, I got a personality, man. I got a sense of humor. I ain't gonna punish y'all for that. But they, in their mind, they're thinking that's something that could be a distraction. So they wanted him to know that that's not something that we do over here.
Well, Coach, man, hey, for the coaches listening, man, what Coach basically saying is, man, when he first got to the program, what have you, or transition from being an assistant, to the head coach, everything just kept running the same thing, from when he took the job, took over or what have you. So what he just done is he just keep on doing this. So basically what he said for these other coaches that, hey, when your upperclassmen are holding the program accountable or what have you, did as coaches, you don't have to do that every year. We have to come in and say, hey, these are the standards, this is how the coach do. They're teaching each other. That's when you know you have a true program, coach. Seriously, that's when you have a true program where you don't have to worry about stuff like that, coach, because they hold each other accountable, because they know the older guys know that, hey, if I have to come and say something about it, I'm getting on you because y'all been here before. Y'all been in the program, so I'm really about to get on y'all. They know you really about to get on them, coach. Where they know like it may be something real severe, and they know, like say, coach, I know you're very professional, but I know that you ain't afraid to get on their butts, coach. So you might like, hey, they may want to see Coach Wags around, man. So the older guys know what time it is, coach.
Well, like I know, when you're dealing with our kids, who come from some struggling backgrounds, and they've seen a lot more than some of the kids that their age have seen. You got to mean what you say. You got to absolutely mean whatever you tell them. Whatever the consequence is that you tell them it's going to be, you got to make sure that it's one that you can deal with and live with, and that you're capable of doing. I never tell them something outrageous that I know can't happen. So I say, if you late to class tomorrow, understand this: I'm gonna run everybody. Or I say, if something, if everybody doesn't have a 75 and above in the class by Friday, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but y'all ain't gonna like it. I leave myself.
Okay, gotcha, coach.
So that they understand. So I'm not saying something that I know I'm not gonna do. Because once you start doing that, you say I'm gonna run everybody 5 miles, and you go out there and run 800. You start losing credibility with those kids. So I try to make sure that whatever I say, I mean it.
Oh yeah, coach. And to be honest, coach, especially with our kids and the demographics of kids that we deal with, coach, you got to mean what you say, because they're gonna try you, coach. And sometimes they go try to see if they can get away with it, coach. It's one of the things an old coach told me a long time ago. My old coach, Goree Johnson, told me a long time ago. He said, kids do what grown folks allow them to do. He said, kids do what you allow them to do. If you allow them to do certain things, kind of going to say, for us to stand, because if you allow them to do certain things, then they gonna do that, coach. They kids. Even if they know it's wrong, even like you say, even if they like you, or so-called, these new age coaches and parents or whatever. Oh, he don't like me, whatever. But we don't care. But just like you said earlier, just because their kid is doing it to his parents, not cleaning up his room, just because you coach and you doing something that he feels can help him or he likes to do, don't mean, coach, that he won't do that to you. you don't birth them, you didn't birth them, you don't feed them, clothing, what have you. So I'm like you, coach. So what makes you think he won't do that to you, coach? So that's very, very good information for the coaches listening, man. I hope they keep what you said, coach, because you dropped some gems, coach. Once again, on TaylorMade Hoops, Coach's Corner, I have no other than Coach Tony Wagner, head coach at Lubbock Estacado High School down there in Lubbock, Texas. We just chopping it up. Coach is telling us about how to build a championship culture. Coach, I was when I was doing my research on you, Coach, I saw, Coach, and I already kind of knew this, that you big on kids playing multiple sports, what have you. So let me ask this: what do you feel are the benefits of athletes playing multiple sports, Coach Wagner?
I just feel like they're competing at different levels. Everything that we
Okay.
do here is about being competitive and competing. And then, my straight like I don't have any straight basketball kids. I make them all do two sports. I mean, I don't care what it is, whether it's cross country, track, or something. I want them to be stretched in other areas and be made to be
Okay.
uncomfortable, in different areas. So now I can tell really how competitive they are. Like I got a kid that's when track season come, he probably run 47, 48 open quarter, which isn't extremely fast. But when he get it, I like to see how he competes when we get to the area rounds and the regional rounds and see if he's gonna get out there and really try. And so, and with basketball, if they, and I don't have anything against straight basketball kids. I mean, I got a couple of them as well, but I just feel like kids you don't get the full realm of competing. If you're just competing in one sport. I think being able to adjust to different coaching and different coaching styles and different philosophies and having a game plan in different areas give you a better understanding about all sports. I think that's why our generation of people have a higher IQ in sports than these new generations because we played everything. We
Mhm,
played baseball, we played
mhm,
played basketball, we played football, we ran track. We did it all. And so when we got old enough to finally do one or two things, we still knew how to do the other things. I mean, I got high school kids who can't catch a football over the shoulder, and that's crazy to me. And I take my basketball team. We'll go out there and play some touch football in the off season. I just want to see what kind of motor skills they have, what kind of athleticism they have, and things like that. And we go out there and we got kids who can't catch the ball over the shoulder because all they've ever done was dribble a basketball. They're not learning how to be diverse in other activities. So I love multi sports kids.
And you know what, Coach? I also think, kind of pick that on what you say. I also think by them also having to adapt to different, like you say, different styles, different cultures, different competitions, and things like that. Coach, I also think that helps you be a more well-rounded person, later on in
Yes.
life because
Yeah.
you've been put in different situations. Like we always say, being put in different rooms. We always being on that. Being having opportunities to be placed in different rooms. So now we're in different rooms, different situations that may not be their comfortability or their strength or what have you, coach, or their first priority or choice, coach. Now they're able to adjust. When they in a maybe a situation that may not be as comfortable or what have you. So I'm a firm believer in that, coach. And I remember when I used to interview for jobs, what have you, and like you, I'll interview at schools that may not be, had the best players, best athletes, what have you, like that. And so, where you have good athletes, but you would have totality of depth like other schools had. So, AD, when I was asked about that, and a lot of times the reason why we get jobs, they can tell that I really believed in that. I told myself I truly believe that one sport helps the other. And perfect example, with my son, my son, he started out playing basketball, track, football, and then, kind of, got away, from basketball, what have you, but still in the summertime, coach, along with him, playing 7-on-7, along with him, having, skills training, whatever, I also make him run summer track. Because, I think
Yeah.
that's going to help him with football,
Mhm.
especially, playing the position he plays in, coach. So, and last thing before we move on, I also like how you said how you're also using different motor skills and different muscles, and things that you may not use in basketball, because in basketball, typically using the same range of motion, the same
Mhm.
muscles, what have you. With other sports, you got to use different muscles or what have you. So at the end, I think, it helps to be a better athlete, a better young man, and not knocking, other guys would have, somehow, people in our profession, they don't like it, but I don't understand, why. Never been a problem with me, coach.
I never understand why you don't want your kids.
Coach.
playing other sports, you know, even just like small things, like football culture just different than basketball culture. You know, I mean, it
Yes.
just is. You know, you go out there and it's loud and I mean,
Mhm.
it's just
Mhm.
different, you know. And so, how are you gonna come? How are you gonna if you're on your job, if you're on a job site or on your job and you get someone that comes in and they have a different philosophy than you still got to work with that person. You still got to get along with that person.
Mhm.
But if you ain't never had to do that, if you ain't never had to work through nothing, man, I just feel like kids should be put in situations to where it's going to help them become better people, better men, better understanding of people, better understanding of people's situations, you know, and you do that by doing multiple things.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that, Coach. Well, Coach, man, like I said, once again, appreciate your time and what have you, Coach. You still there with me, Coach?
I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, okay. Because I told you sometime, man, lose a little bit. But yeah, but once again, for my viewers that's tuning in on TaylorMade Hoops, Coach's Corner, I have no other than Coach Tony Wagner. We just chopping it up, and he's just sharing some gems, talking about the benefits of multiple sport athletes. But Coach, we'll go into you, man. Before it's about just sometimes leading to the next question, how sometimes you be able to play so long, Coach, that a lot of people sometimes say that the voice gets old, the message gets old. You know, in the locker room sometimes you might need to hear a new voice, what have you. But hey, you've been hanging on, man, this long, and your voice has been still leading these young men and still listen to you, Coach. So let me ask this: how, as a coach, do you continue to evolve and keep the message fresh, Coach?
Well, I think the biggest thing that we've accomplished here at Estacado is that the parents and the kids that play here, they understand that unequivocally that I genuinely care and love these kids. And so now what I'm seeing is a lot of my former players, kids are coming through and graduating, and they understand. So if I call and say so and so and so and so was in class doing this, it's not a lot of backlash because the only time I'm calling is to let them know exactly what's happening. And so,
Mhm.
also, I think, with the success that we've had over the years, all of my former assistants are either now superintendents of school district or assistant superintendents of school district or head coaches themselves. And so, yeah, I've been fortunate enough to pick some great guys to come in our program and be great mentors to our players. Like, one of my assistants is the fastest growing realtor in West Texas right now. And then the other one is he's the super, when we won state, he's the superintendent of Lubbock Cooper Independent School District. And then the one after him, he's the second in charge of Friendship School District out here. And so I mean, it's just I've been fortunate to get some guys on our staff that really believed in kids and genuinely, and so it's helped us go move along. Now this year, I don't know. I don't know about this year. I got my son on my staff. I got one of my former players on my staff, and both of them were schools in high school. So I don't know how it's going to work with them, with these younger kids. They're two younger guys that's kind of in the same generation as these kids, and so I don't know
Mhm. Mhm.
how it's gonna work yet. But so far it's been good. But I've just been really really fortunate to hire some great guys to help me make these kids understand what the bigger goal is.
Oh man, that's great. That's great, man. So what you say, Coach? You very make sure that you do your homework on guys. Just don't bring anybody to your program. You make sure that you do your due diligence on guys. I got what you say, Coach.
Yeah, well, with the demographic that we deal with, our kids are some of the smartest kids
Oh,
on earth. So they can pick up on anything that's fake. You cannot
uh-huh, uh-huh.
is they can pick up on anything that's not that they feel is if it's not right, you can't because these like I said, these kids been through a lot, and so you gotta have some genuine guys that truly love them and care about them in order for those kids to even listen to them to have any kind of success. So we've just been fortunate in doing that.
Oh yeah, no doubt, Coach. No doubt, Coach. Well, let me ask this, Coach. We kind of spoke up a little bit about how important things are for you on and off the court. So let me ask this question, Coach. What accomplishment are you the most proud of, and the most important, and the most important to you? The 500 plus career wins in the state championship, or the numerous young men you guided that are now productive citizens, Coach? Which one of those accomplishments are you most proud of, or is most important to you, Coach?
It's by far the accomplishments of my former players. The wins take care of itself. I mean, the state championship was cool and stuff. You know, my son was on the team, whatever. But nothing like being invited to be in one of your former players' wedding.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
there's nothing like AJ McLeod. He's over the East Fort Worth YWCA's in Fort Worth right now. I think he has 3 or 4 branches up under him, so he's affecting so many lives down there in the Fort Worth area. And then here in Lubbock, Jazz Williams is over the Parkway Neighborhood Center. Same thing, same kind of thing. And just want to be around kids. And then I got a couple of former players that are coaches now. I think I took a picture with them earlier before school started. That are all coaches now that play for me. Those are the things that I take pride in, because that means that those kids are listening. That means that they want to make a difference in society, not just talk about it, not just get on Facebook and type about it. They really put their feet on the ground, get in the trenches, and try to make a real difference in kids' lives. And so those are the wins that I count. The other wins are gonna come, man. Those things are celebratory or whatever, but it's nothing like seeing your kids that you molded into men, molding other people's kids into men.
Oh yeah, Coach. Oh yeah, Coach. I'm gonna tell you, Coach. That's what just keeps me going. It makes me know that, like you say, Coach, that I'm making an impact, even though I'm not on the sidelines, coaching. That I'm still making an impact. Is that when I see some of my former players, when I be out of tournaments, stuff like that, and I see them, and sometimes now I'm evaluating, their kids or what have you, whatever coach doing right, evaluating kids. But most important to me, Coach, is that I do another segment here what I call TaylorMade Hoops Player Circle, and I interview players, current and former. Sometimes I get the opportunity to interview some of my former players, and I had the chance to do that, Coach. And I'm most proud of the ones, Coach, like you say now, that are successful businessmen, things of that sort. Things of that sort. The ones that tell you, Coach, but hey, it was something that you said that you did. I still remember, some of the members that we had in practice, what have you, that I still talk about you, what have you, that makes you feel good, Coach, because I tell everybody, we may play. I truly believe it takes a village. Everybody pours into these kids, whether it be a principal, the parents, the pastor at the church, whoever it may be. And a lot of times, Coach, we may have a small impact on their kid, but for their kids to remember that, Coach, and still remember you, makes you feel good, because when I started doing this, because I say, well, hey, I'm gonna, kind of reach out, to some of my former players so they can also, tell their story of their improvement, things of that sort, Coach. And when I did, it was like, Coach, it was like kind of like the two coaches, like we just got them speaking, Coach. Some of them I haven't spoke to, or physically seen like over 15 years or so. And they said, "Oh, Coach, oh yeah, man, we got you, Coach." And we just, was just glad to do it. And doing the interview was like they started laughing, Coach, because like we were just talking like we were back in practice or whatever. We had
And it's funny.
dropped out.
You learn the most about your team when those guys graduate. They come
Yeah,
tell you,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
on the back of the bus, coach. We used to,
yeah,
and I'm like, man, don't tell me that now, because I
yeah,
put y'all on the line right now. But it's amazing. It's a blessing. And for me personally, I try to build a relationship with all the kids in our school. It's very few kids in our school who I don't know their name. I think it's important to them that I know them, and that I care about how they feel and what they think as well. So, I got a lot of kids that come up to me and vent to me that aren't basketball players.
yeah.
I'm huge on relationships, and I think that once kids know that you care about them, they just do better. They just do
Mhm.
better.
They won't do better, Coach, because it's like the affirmation thing where they don't want to disappoint, Coach Wade, because
Yeah,
what you do is like I'm the same way, Coach. I unofficially gave myself a morning duty and working with Hattie where we don't have anybody when the kids walk up to go in their rooms with Hattie, they don't have nobody standing there, especially the kind of kids we dealing with, they made, the DAP kids, they made, whatever, Coach. So I stand up when I come in there, Coach. I like standing there because I get to know each kid from the elementary ones on to the high school ones that we got. Because they come in, I see a kid, he may because I'm a sneakerhead, Coach. So I may have on pair of J's. I said, oh, hey bro, hey man, I like them J's, man. Hey man, hey good morning, man. How you doing, man? Hey man, I like them J's, man. And every morning they'll remember that if he come by, the kid got a new pair of Jordans. He gonna make sure to let me know, man. Coach T, man, I got the new J's on them. They gonna look at my
yeah,
shoes. Hey, Coach, I see you got the ones on today, Coach. What have you? You may be a young lady. It's one young lady come by every morning, and she always have a little sack of donuts, or whatever. And I always mess with her. I say, hey, let me get one of them donuts. She always look at me kind of frown and keep walking, what have you. And so every time I see her, I mess with her. I say, one day you're gonna give me one of them donuts, what have you. So just
Yeah.
build a relationship, with the kids or what have you. Like you
You,
say, even once not in my class, coach, it's very, very important, I think, for the overall culture of the school, coach.
yes,
Oh,
sir.
yeah. Hey, well, once again, you can tell me and Coach Wagner having a great time on TaylorMade Hoops, Coach's Corner, just chopping it up, just talking about his different philosophies and how he just overall, to be honest, for the young coaches and coaches watching, how you can be an impact in your building, not just in your sport or with your athletes or what have you. So, Coach, we're gonna transition, Coach, and talk a little bit about X and O's, a little bit, Coach Wagner. Coach, I know this may be a little broad, question, what have you, but let's pick your brain a little bit, Coach. What is your offense and your defensive philosophy, Coach? How do you like to play down there, Coach? Down there in Lubbock, Coach.
We want I want to press you on both ends, both ends. I want to make sure that you press you on offense. When we have the ball, I want us to be aggressive. And when you have the ball, I want us to be aggressive. And it's literally that simple. When we have the ball, I want our guys to be aggressive in attack mode. And then when they have the ball, I want us to be aggressive on defense, and we're gonna play that way for all 32 minutes.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And I must say to the viewers, hey, that's what you do when you play the boys down there from Lubbock, man. Let me tell you something, man. I watched the state regional finals game when y'all played Kimball, Coach. I mean, man, y'all gave Kimball. Y'all probably played Kimball better than anybody had that year, Coach. I'm just not talking about the boys just on the scoreboards. Just the way, Coach, y'all was able to. One thing about it, and I tell folks, man, good friend of mine. I coached up under I call him Hollywood Nick on two
Yeah,
occasions, man. One of the best human beings you meet, man. Good dude, man. Don't forget all the Hollywood stuff. Ooh, he really a good dude. Love the kids, about the kids, and all that stuff. But I know him, and I know that he wants to control the tempo. With the athletes, he wants to get up and down and control the tempo. And one thing I was impressed with, Coach, is how y'all guys didn't allow them to control the tempo. Where y'all kind of had to make him play y'all game.
yeah,
Where you probably knew as a coach, that hey, I probably don't have the depth of athletes or players he got, so I'm not trying to get to a 90, 100-point game. But still, I'm not gonna go away from my philosophy. But like I said, we still like to get up and down too. But I know I'm gonna have to modify that a little bit. I'm gonna have to maybe do that in spurts and do that, in different instances, not just maybe all the time, to kind of control the game a little bit, make them have to get down there, have to guard, play a little bit defense, what have you. So that's one thing, Coach, I was very impressed with, Coach, man.
yeah. I feel like our guys, they let the moment get to them a little bit in that first quarter, and we got down, And I try to tell them, I feel like we could play against or with anybody in the state in our classification, and I think if we play a little bit better opening the game, I mean, who knows, But I was so proud of our kids for not quitting and getting blown out by 30 or 40. They kept fighting and kept fighting. And we did that without our all-state player. Our point guard got hurt in the second
Mm-hmm.
round of the playoffs. So we had to play 2 games without him. And I wonder what the pace would look like sometimes had he been
Mm-hmm.
playing, and not taking anything away from Kimball. They do a great job. Nick does an outstanding job. Even though he put our name on a state ring, I saw that on
Oh, I
Facebook.
ain't seen that yet, Coach. Okay. What I said, I'm gonna have to check it out. I ain't seen that, Coach. I haven't saw that yet.
I was
Okay.
like, all right. I was telling somebody, I said, man, I'm gonna go get ours remade and put Madison on ours. But
Yeah.
yeah. I was telling somebody that the other day. I said, man, I'm mad. I didn't think of that idea first, but he does a great job. We talked on the phone a little bit before the game, and he gave me some great insight, and just on how things are done and how it is to coach so many Division I kids on one team, and just the culture you have to make sure that they're all playing as one group instead of 7 individuals, and so. I mean, I enjoyed our conversation. I think he does an outstanding job. I'm hoping that we can do it again though.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, man. But now I tell folks that about Nick. People don't realize, Coach, that I had to realize that throughout my years of coaching. I don't never think it's either way. It's easier or harder. A lot of times people say, well, it's easy. It's easy to coach those guys because, he got talent, what have you. And then I tell folks, well, as a coach, one of the biggest things people don't realize, coach, it's not about necessarily the overall skill level, necessarily or talent of the players sometimes, of the players that leads to your team's success. The most important thing people don't realize is the chemistry, coach. Guys being able to buy into whatever the overall team goal is and willing to sacrifice, knowing that, hey, I may not be able to score 20 points a game, but if I'm not letting it get get 10 shots a game, they don't say that's hard. The mental, psychological part is the most hardest part I tell folks about coaching. The X and O's part, coach, let's be honest, I'm keep real. We all know how to coach. Coach, we all went to camps throughout the year, especially guys our age came up the way we did, where we had to go to camps where everybody, we used to go on the tour and sometimes go to SU camp out there. Coach Tubbs, rest in peace. You go to North Texas, go U of H, whatever, somewhere, where we had to cut our teeth, like that, coach. So we all know how to coach, especially if you came from my generation. But it's the mental, the psychological part, like you just said when you was talking with Nick, how to get 7 guys, the Division I guys, that's the man. Anywhere else, they're gonna be the man. Getting in the
I
body.
mean, that was one of the things I was most impressed with. We played a lot of Metroplex teams. We beaten a lot of. We beat like when LeBron Nash was a senior, him and Keith Miles. We went down there, them, 15, 16 points, I think. And I think we had one Division I player, which was my son Kevin. But it's just, I just when we played Campbell both times, even when Snoop was coaching them, we played them twice, and whatever they say, whenever Nick barked out for some of them do, they just did it, and I thought that was impressive having so much talent on one team. Sometimes kids are shy away from that because they feel like they have an advantage on a kid and they can take him every single time, and those kids never did that, which is a testament to the job that he does with those guys.
Oh yeah. But one thing about it, man, is talk about your team, man. Because hey, we talking about you, baby. We ain't talking about the other teams right now. We talking about you, but one thing we all coach that I am serious coach throughout the years, like you said, that I was impressed, and I happened to be at that game, man. Where I know when it's shocking to you and the guys in the locker room, what happened? Y'all came down there and put that whooping on Lincoln, man, right there in Ellis Davis, man. I was right there front seat watching the game. And like you say, the thing about it, man, is like you say, I think one of the things that happened, like you say, coaches, y'all guys, you can tell were more connected, coach. Like you say, for the chemistry part, where everybody understood their role, coach. And y'all did a good job of playing to y'all strengths. Y'all knew that nobody on the court, but probably nobody in the state of the country could stay in front of your son. Would have so y'all spread them out, man. Went to what I'm saying, that 2-1-2 set, that box set, what have you, that 2 guard top set, man. And like you say, kept it simple, but like I said, then whatever happened to 2 guys, man. Y'all had the two wings, man. We were something driving, kicking, man. One of the guys I remember on the left hand side, man. He did not miss, man. He was automatic, man. Y'all had 2 dudes that, hey, when they try to come and try to help.
They both played college. They both played college basketball. Clarence played at he played at Arkansas Tech, and then Raheem. It's funny about Raheem because his son's on my team right now. He's 6'3". He can play, and but Raheem was the other guard that was making. He played over at LCU for a couple of years, and then obviously he had his son, and so he quit and started working. But now he's one of the top 15 Southern Soul singers, and he does that. He goes on tour and stuff with all these different, these different Southern Soul blues type deals. He's blowing up a little bit. It's like I think he's about to be famous here in a minute, man. I mean, he's always but he does it. So that's funny, man, to think about that because those 2 guys could both play. They could both play.
No, coach, they can play. No, they can play, coach. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I remember that, man, like it was yesterday, man. It don't seem like you say it's been that long ago, man. Like I tell folks, man, it's why you got to, sometimes you got to slow down, man, and enjoy life, man, and live in the moment. Sometimes, as coaches, we always, because, we organize people, we always planning and what have you. Sometimes, we got to kind of slow down, man, and just enjoy some of the relationships we had, man. But I remember that game like it was yesterday, coach, boy. They shot the word. I was like, man, I can't believe that. The first of all, they're like, no, it's a team. Look, man, first of all, everybody, because around, you got to think about around the city was just in that area with just, so many, just great teams, with the Kimball's, the Fox, and all them, whatever. So everybody's like, what's the team here, man? Then y'all came in, y'all weren't just overly, just a big team. You know what I'm saying, Coach? Just dominating where everybody, they just like a normal team where, Lincoln, they had Keaton, 6'7", LeBron, they had, the big two. So it did for y'all to do that. People were kind of like shocked, Coach, man. Hey, from abuse to tuning in, as you can tell, man, I want to keep Coach all day because, hey, I can talk, man. I will admit that I can talk. So we're going to keep it going, man. But I'm enjoying myself. Hopefully, I ain't talk Coach to death. Coach, let me ask this, Coach. We're going to talk a little bit about the preseason, things like that. I know a lot of you guys, like I say, probably, playing other sports with have you, but I know you may, still have them during the athletic period and things that sort. So, Coach, how's the preseason going? Are your players and team and program on steps that you and the staff are looking to be on, Coach? Because I know you kind of got an idea of, maybe where you want to be at a certain point in time.
It's going great, man. I mean, we lost 7 seniors last year. We lost the district MVP. We lost the defensive player of the year. We lost, 2 all-region kids. 4 of those guys, but 5 of them were all district. So I was a little concerned. So well, not concerned because, like I said, our deal is tradition, never graduation. So, but we also had probably the two best 2027 kids around this area. So it helps having those guys back. So we went down to TABC this summer and went 3-0, where we beat Houston Yates, we beat Frisco, Panther Creek, and we beat Brenham down there at TABC, which I thought was some huge confidence boosters for our younger guys, our little freshmen that are coming up. It's funny that you were talking about Clarence a while ago. His nephew is a freshman here this year, and he's going to be better, And so I plugged him in. Over there, and I didn't know how it was going to look and what it was going to look like, but we managed to go 3-0 down there. And then so obviously the ones who play football went to football, and so Shakur and Andre are still over here, and we just been working, man. Just been working, trying to put the best product we can on the floor up until football season comes. I love this time of year because what happens is a lot of these kids that's going to be 9, 10, 11, 12 guys on the bench when football comes. They get to play major minutes, for 2-3 weeks. And so now, if someone gets injured or something happens, these kids have played for 3 or 4 weeks without our football guys, and so they're not afraid to go in there and just compete. Not saying that they won't play when they get here, because they will play when they get here, but they won't be intimidated by the role change. And so I love that part of it.
Oh yeah, Coach. Well, Coach, man, we're gonna stay along on those same lines of question, Coach, since you already kind of talked about your team and players. Coach, for the college coaches and people that may be watching, especially the college coaches, Coach, who are some TaylorMade picks, Coach? Who are some players that these college coaches need to keep an eye on? Of course, I know about Shaq and your guard, what have you, but obviously, speaking of him, but who are some other players that you got on your roster that they need to be kind of already putting on the radar, Coach?
Well, I think Andre Langston for us, he grew like 3 or 4 inches, so he's like 6'3" point guard. Can shoot it, can put on the floor, can score, can defend all 3 positions, and I think he proved himself well. We played those good guards from Frisco, Panther Creek, and I felt like he was, him and Shakur were probably the best 2 guards on the floor, and that kid from Panther Creek was really, really good too. Those 2 are for sure. And then I got a couple of freshmen with Keandre Hastings. That's Clarence's nephew. I think he'll have a chance to step in and help us a lot. This year he puts me in the mind frame of Ramon, number 23 that played for us last year. That could really shoot it. He's playing at Arlington Baptist now, but I think he can come in and fill that role for us this year, so we won't have as big of a gap as it was last year. And I also feel like if they don't beat us this year, then we'll be having a different conversation the next 3 years.
Gonna get you now,
Yeah,
Coach. Yes,
yeah. And I feel like Shakur. I think for Shakur, he played with that YGC this summer, and I don't know how I feel about that yet. Because I played basketball at a high level. I've coached it at a high level, and I watched those games. And I felt like he was the best guard on that team. Not saying it just because he's my kid, but he did everything better than from what I saw. And and I'm good friends with some of the coaches down there, and I kind of picked their brains. So hopefully we can get him in a situation where he can get out there and compete at a high level, for extenuated minutes, for more minutes, because I feel, I mean, he was averaging 13, 14 points, and he's playing, 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes, and I just think that he's a better player than that. I don't think that if we swap teams with him and some of the kids on that team that are getting these offers from these schools, I don't know if there's a political side or what, but I know they couldn't come carry our team the way he carries our team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and that's one of the things he's a little frustrated with right now, because like we said earlier, kids can see it. Kids can see it when, especially if they feel like that they're better. And so I'm hopefully we can find him a situation this summer where he can excel in. He and Andre both, because I feel like we have the best backcourt in West Texas. So it's just a matter of us going out and playing and proving it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And coach, to be honest, man, that's I'm definitely coaching. Not just saying this because you're my guy, but coach, I saw him in the state regional game, security state, game, whatever, man, regional game, man. I was like to say, I was impressed, man, and like you said, he definitely was not if the best, the best guard out there on the court. And that's saying, with all those Division I, kids that Nick got it, what have you. So that was just saying, like, really opened my eyes because I had some play a little bit, had summer, what have you, but I didn't realize, like you say, seeing him play, like you say, with that level of competition, what he did, just how poised he was, how he controlled the game on both ends, how he was locking up, how when I was impressed with also two coaches, how, like you say, he had to do so much, carry so many hats, you know what I'm saying? When he's coming down, we had to facilitate, get other guys involved, but also too he had to, the impulse in the basketball IQ to know when to score. Like, hey, my team need a bucket, let me go ahead and score, what have you. But then know when, hey, I might need this guy here. I can tell that my shooter over here, you know what I'm saying? He look like he might be a little disengaged. Let me go get him a shot so I can keep him engaged, what have you. So that was
That's what I
those
don't
guys.
understand. That's why that's why I didn't understand. For the life of me, I don't understand how this kid don't have an offer yet from somebody. I
Yeah,
just
man, coach,
and
coach,
and
coach, I got to call him out to my people down there, man. But hey, my boy Buck down there at Tech, man, he right in the backyard. Come on, Buck, man.
know,
Come on, man. Come on, man.
you
Come
know,
on,
I,
man.
and what's crazy, man. He's been that way. I schedule our schedule when I know we got some kids that can play at the next level, or like we don't run from it. We went to Mesquite this past year
Yeah,
and we played DeSoto. We played
yeah.
that Taco team, and and Shakur was the leading scorer, in every last one of those games. And after the game, all these people come and talk to me about him, but they ain't talking to him about it. I mean, I just feel like, and I do that because I know what people say. They think that the competition here, he scored 30 out here is because the competition bad. Okay, well, what happens when he scores 31 against DeSoto? What happens when he scores 29 against the Taka? What happens when he scores 23 against Carter? What happens
Yeah.
when he scores 19 against Campbell? I mean, what are we saying? What are we saying? I just,
No.
and then everybody comes to those, especially in West Texas. They hardly ever get to see us lose, and so when we play those Dallas Carter teams and
Mhm.
and Kimball, people want to come out to see what it looks like for us to not be the most athletic, or us to not to be the most talented. Really, to watch us lose, and for our guys, man, they just embrace it. They just embrace it,
Oh,
man. They embrace it, and so it's one of those things where, with him, I just keep telling him to be patient, not get frustrated. He's in Houston right now at that Gen X, whatever it is. He said a few coaches talked to him afterwards, but I think I gotta find him. I probably need to get him with Tony Johnson or something, because I think Tony fights hard for his kids, and there's not a whole lot of different. He ain't playing no games. If a kid can play, he gonna play him. So I need to figure out a way to get him and Andre on one of those teams where they can showcase their skills against great competition every week.
oh yeah, oh yeah. That's like you say, coach, man. It's good to be honest, man. Just coaching on their level, man, the collegiate level, whatever. It's very, to be honest, coach. It's very, very political. You got to, like you say, put your kids in. Unfortunately, in the right situation for the people that got the people's ear. Got the right people's ears, and what have you. Because, like you say, I just laugh sometimes, coach. Because, like you say, I see a kid. I saw a kid, man, like 2 weeks ago, man, at the Gasso play. and I seen the kid. I'm like, and after the game, I'm looking around at everybody, man. I'm like, man, how's that kid? I don't be called that ranking bull crap because I'm looking at, but I'm like, how this kid don't have any offers? And I'm looking at kids, that's his class, whatever this point guard said. I'm seeing coach there. I'm like, I don't think I'm, the greatest evaluator, but I think I can tell talent coach. I'm like, I'm looking like kind of like you looking. I'm not really getting how this kid got 4 or 5 offers. Then, like you said, you got to look at, what I'm saying. Sometimes, the kid might be put in the right situation, might be playing for the right AA team or whatever the case
That's
may be.
and that's I think that's the frustrating part for me with Shakur because I just, you know how like I'm one of those guys. If I'm scouting the team and they say this kid can play, and I walk in the
Mhm.
gym, I shouldn't have to go get a brochure and look at
Yeah,
it to
I
find
should
his
be able to
number.
tell who that kid is, coach.
Yeah,
Yep.
I should be able to walk in
There
there
you
and
go, coach.
and if you walk in any game that we play in, it's gonna take you 4 possessions to realize which one is Shakur because he's gonna
Mm-hmm.
make that impact right there and right then. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully it picks up for him, man, and we can get him in a situation where the coaches are really trying to push the kid on into the next level, instead of making excuses of why they can't. I mean, and so and hopefully we can get that going for him this summer.
Oh no, coach, and like I said, the thing about the coach is that I'm doing everything I can. Like you said, I'm gonna get with you, coach. Get this information, coach. Bring him on the show, try to help boys get them out there, promotion and things this sort. And then, like you say, coach, we've already kind of like you say had some, with your nephew, what have you. So you kind of know what I do. So like you said, we'll go ahead, coach, like you say, and let you do everything y'all can do. Then, like you say, coach, if that's not working, what have you, then like you say, we'll talk and you definitely I get with them, try to, help them out, make some calls and, do some things for them, what have you. Because I know off the top of my head, coach, probably 2 schools, coach, that are probably, that might be interested in taking what have you. So, like you say, just keep doing what y'all doing. And like I tell my son sometimes, man, hey, everybody race is different, man. It's just like life, like the words say, you
Yeah,
can't compare. Everybody race is
right.
different. You got to run your race, coach. And
Yeah,
everything got a good reason, and his path may be a little bit different. Coach, just like your path is a little bit different in college than maybe some other people would have you. So,
yeah,
you just got to just stay focused and I just continue to believe in yourself, man. Believe in the work you put into. At the end of the day, and continue to do what you do. Continue to play with that chip on the shoulder, coach. Because
yeah,
like I tell people all the time, that's one reason why I started what I do. It's for a reason like this, because like you say, you get kids to get overlooked because of geographical location. This kid
yeah,
obviously bust everybody kid, you know, everybody but the state at his position. Whoever it is you want to line up, he done played him. He didn't, like you say, be the best player on the court, what have you. But for whatever reason, like you say, people like you trying to say, like some of the coaches, they not knocking them, but you want to make sure, oh, coach, we play down in Lubbock, coach. They ain't really, they say the level of competition. They say this, they say that, whatever. My thing is, hey, you got to make it work, man. You got to be able to sell it. You got to be able to say, hey, man, this kid here in the state region conference game against Kim, he had 19, man. Check this game. You got to be able to say, like you said, coach, what are you talking about? Or what are we talking
yeah.
about here? So, but it's all good, coach. And I definitely appreciate you, coach. And definitely, like you say, go do everything I can, to help get your players out, especially, secure, man, because I think most definitely, the real deal, coach. Well, coach, man, come to the end of the show, man. Uh, just want to let you know, man, once again, I appreciate you, man. I always do 2 things, man, before we go. Coach, go ahead. First thing, go ahead and let everybody know, Coach, how they can get in contact with you or your team if they want to follow you. And also let me know anything that you want to promote and you want to let people know what's going on with your program, Coach. And going on down there at Estacado High School, Coach.
Well, right now it's not a whole lot going on. We're gonna play at the Eton Classic shootout October 11th down there in Fort Worth. And then if you want to follow us, obviously it's Matador Hoops on Facebook, Matador Hoops on X, Shakur Wilburn on X, and then Shakur Wilburn on Instagram, and then Andre on Instagram, Andre Langston, and then Andre Langston on X. And so I think those 2 guys are going to open up some eyes this year. And then I think a lot of people think we're going to have a big fall off because we lost so much last year. But again, tradition never graduates. So I'm looking forward to these kids. I'm looking forward to these kids proving themselves right. You know, not proving everyone else wrong, proving themselves right when the season starts. And so hopefully we get another crack at one of them schools in a state semifinal, and then and get and make it to the next level.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, Coach. Most definitely, Coach. Last thing, Coach, man, I'm gonna ask you, Coach, man. Go ahead, Coach. Let everybody know, Coach, who had the great pleasure of interviewing you today, Coach. Who's rocking with, Coach?
TaylorMade hoops, rocking
Hey,
with
Coach, I
TaylorMade hoops. I
appreciate it.
appreciate you.
No, I appreciate you, Coach. Hey, man, they don't know, Coach, man. I've been a big fan, Coach, seriously, and admire. And as you can tell, Coach, I'm straightforward, genuine person. Hey, when you see me out or whatever, I'm be the same person, Coach. And honestly, Coach, I can't. I'm like the kids, Coach. I can't be at you, Coach. What I feel about you is what I feel about you, Coach. And honestly, Coach, I'm blessed to have the privilege and honor. I always say that the privilege and honor to have the opportunity, to be honest, Coach, to have anybody I probably vote for as a coach, on my show. But I specifically pick certain people based upon, the relationships I have with them, or like you say, just the admiration I have for, just like Coach. I know throughout the years we done hung out, out the court, things like that, and things like that, being in TABC meetings, things like that. A lot of times, Coach, I like to do this show, to be honest, Coach, because I kind of get a chance to chop it up, get to know you even a little bit more, Coach, and just
Yes,
so now I feel, that relationship is even a little more better, Coach. I got a chance to kind of get to know you as the viewers are getting to know you, Coach, man. So everybody kind
absolutely.
of get to see what's up, man. But once again, Coach, not saying this, Coach, not gonna hold you up. Hey, we TaylorMade Hoops, once again, head coach Tony Wagner, head coach at Lubbock Estacado High School in Lubbock, Texas. One of the best out there, hands down. Not saying this doesn't matter classification. One of the best coaches. The reason why I say that, some people may look at it and say, well, hey, he may not have this many wins, what have you, but I feel I'll put him up against anybody when it comes to X and O's on the coach, but also put his resume up with anybody, the impact he's made off the court, Coach. So most definitely appreciate you, Coach, man. Not gonna hold you up, Coach. Have a great one, Coach. I'll most definitely be checking y'all out, Coach.
All right. Thank you for having me.
All right, no doubt, Coach.
All right.
All right.